Hello and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Cornelius, where I, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, discuss, chat and hypothesize on all things from fatherhood, marriage, comedy and everything else in between. From time to time, there will be special guests, but mostly it's going to be me and some regular contributors, including my main squeeze, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, aka the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. My name is Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan and I'm your host. And do you know where I am now, guys? Do you know where I am? I'm inside in a lady's bedroom. That's where I am. And the sheets are all over the bed. Is it my wife? It's not.
There's chocolates on the bed from Butlers.
There's chocolates on the bed from Butlers. The bed is like kind of crumpled. There's like, you know, there's shoes strung across the room. It's, yeah, look, I'll leave it up to your own imagination now, guys. What's going on or what's gone on here. But what's happening now is it's a podcast. You know, and that's categorically the truth. Is that right, Kyla?
That is right indeed.
I'm in the Imperial Hotel with a friend of mine, Kyla Cobbler.
Yes.
Shows in the CoCo Club this week, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. It is
Saturday? It's the last night tonight.
Tonight's the last night.
Tonight is the last night. I think it's going to be magic.
Yeah.
I think that last one is going to be magic.
Yeah. They've been I would say they've been special. Like the first night
electric.
I mean, if you could bottle that.
Yeah, electric.
It was electric.
It was electric. People were buzzing. It was so good. I was buzzing. Oh my God.
The anticipation of people queuing up outside the door. I actually haven't. And I said it last night because we have had like really good comedians, really big name comedians come in.
Yeah.
Some of the creme de la creme, and I actually have never experienced that type of energy. There was a frenetic energy of love. Kind
of. It was a love avalanche. Absolutely, it was. Avalanche. It just was. It was such a, and I think as well, it was just, and people wanted me to do well. You know, it was just that buzz of like, I hope she's good. You know what I mean? After all the anticipation and everything else.
I think there was a little bit. I think there was that, but I think there was also the expectation. Of course, you're going to be good.
Yeah.
It was
nice. Yeah. It was just. It would have been very funny if I was shit. It would have been so funny if I just got up there and was absolute shite.
Imagine if there was a documentary following.
Yeah. The rise and fall of Kyla Cobbler.
Oh no, it was
it was fun.
We have to get into the nuts and bolts of the gig, but like of both gigs, but like last night then as well.
Yes.
Different.
Yeah. Very different.
Equally special.
Yeah, very different. Last night personally was quite big for me because my dad had come to see me and he's never seen me perform, so that was a big moment. And it was lovely. It was great. It went well. I was a little bit extra nervous just because I wanted to impress him, obviously. And
I suppose as well when the first night, like honestly, like the first night, it was just out of control.
I know. I don't remember it. Do you ever get that after shows like that?
Only very seldom.
Yeah, I kind of came off stage and I said thank you to everyone. Then I couldn't really, and that was my first time meeting everyone. That was my first time having like the parish or what was created on Instagram in a room, like in a physical form. So I was just like, I had this thing in my mind of just wanting to say thank you to everyone. I was like, I need you to understand how grateful I am, because I'm always saying it online and I'm like, no, but you don't understand that this wouldn't be a thing. It would have taken me so much longer to sell tickets if I didn't have people already there willing to buy them. So I was just like, I need you to understand that you've done this. Like, I don't know, it was an absolute whirlwind. I got back and I was laying on the ground. I was doing lion's pose, child's pose, exhaling my mouth, like just trying to get myself back to land, and I just couldn't. I was up too high dough.
What's it like? Like how am I going to formulate this question now, right? So you're and you say this on stage, you're sober 94, was it 93
94 days? Today, 95 or 95 to
95
check.
Days. Like
next Wednesday it'll be 100.
Next Wednesday is 100. First of all, that's unreal.
Thank you.
Right? That's unbelievable, and it's like I've been saying, if anyone the regular listeners to this podcast will know that for Lent I gave up alcohol for Lent, with the exception of St. Patrick's Day on my birthday.
When's your birthday?
22nd of March.
Oh, good.
And I didn't drink on either of those 2 days. I used them for different occasions, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I felt so shit every single, even on those days. The first time I had a drink was for an Ireland match, and I had 2 cans of Coors Light, and for about 4 days afterwards,
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's such and I had been off it for maybe 3 weeks before that, and I was like telling everyone, being a dickhead, like, I'm off the, I'm off drinking, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
But then just 2 of those cans poisoned me.
I know.
But imagine if it does that to your body, you can just imagine what that does to your soul.
I know. But do you know, when I was getting sober, I listened to, do you know Andrew Huberman?
I love Andrew. I listen and watch his podcast religiously.
He is what a babe. Dream man.
He's
dream man. The way
strong, big,
and also
with a brain.
And he's so good at explaining things that I shouldn't have the capacity to understand the lingo that he uses.
Across him now, Kyla, because he's like really big in the kind of the alpha or wannabe look after yourself for.
I listen to all that stuff for comedy, and I do a bit about Joe Rogan where I mock him, but I love Joe Rogan. Like, I listen to Joe Rogan, and one of my favorite things to do is listening to 2 comedians talk on a podcast, because I'm like, oh, they're my people. I feel it, and I'm like, this is hell. I love comedians. So, and Andrew Huberman comes into that. Like, if you start going on the algorithm, he'll pop in. But I listened to his when I was getting sober, because I thought the same. What I thought would happen is that, because I initially gave up alcohol for dry January, started giving it up, and was like, oh no, I have a serious problem, because
how did you realise that?
Because it was impossible. I was crawling out of my skin. The withdrawals I had, and the social, I was like, I am so reliant on this substance. And I gave up weed, which is like, you don't sleep for like 10 days. So I was like, with the weed, I get put away 10 days. I got really early gigs. I was like, look, I'm doing this thing. I'm getting off something. So I need early slots or late slots, because I'm not going to sleep. And I just prepared that, and I gave it up, and it got really good really quick. Yeah. It was very hard for like 10 days, and then it got amazing. And I thought with alcohol,
same thing.
It fucked me. It fucked me socially. It gave me clarity, which I didn't expect, which made me question people in my life, my social circles, myself. It was one of the most reformative things. I honestly, and I listened to this Huberman about alcohol, because I was like, what is this doing to me? Like, why is this so hard? So I listened to he's got an amazing podcast about alcohol, and he talks about it. And one of the biggest differences between alcohol and other drugs, and I've taken all the drugs, apart from obviously crack and heroin and stuff, but like all the fun drugs I've taken.
I didn't take heroin, I did try crack once, alright.
It's crazy. Was it crazy?
I'll be honest, I actually don't think I did it right.
Oh, really?
Because I like
thank God.
I was a Red Bull can living in London, and you smoke. Well, this is how we took it anyway.
Yeah.
You smoke it out of a Red Bull can. Well, it doesn't have to be Red Bull. It could be any.
Yeah. Just for listen. Here's one I made at home.
Can if you have to drink Red Bull.
Do it yourself at home, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
But I was doing it with a guy, and he was doing it regularly, and he was trying to get me to do it, and I was like, fuck one, I'll try it. So, and I tried it, and it didn't. Do you know the way they say, oh my God, you float? And
yeah, the euphoric.
And he goes, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know. And he goes, take another hit of it. And I said, you know what, I won't.
Because something happened that I didn't. Yeah.
It didn't work for me, and if I do it there again now,
it might seem like
something might, like I said, I won't.
Good for you.
It's not for me.
That's what I would have done. Good for you.
And I'm fucking delighted I didn't.
Yeah, can you imagine? Fuck that.
But like heroin now, I had all morphine, I suppose, when I was sick in hospital. But
I know, different ball game.
Yeah.
It's such a different ball game.
Medicinal,
Yes, and it's dosage too. I mean,
True.
A little bit of venom sometimes can help with the cure, but not. I mean, you're not injecting it into your veins. I would assume.
God, I just fucking love your wisdom for shit like that. The venom can help with the cure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
True,
yes, it is.
Like,
it is.
The vaccine is.
Absolutely is. So Huberman, let me tell you this very quickly, and then we'll think. So the difference between that and other drugs, alcohol and other drugs, is that other drugs, we have receptors in our bodies that whenever we ingest it, our receptors open up like flowers and take it, and then start pumping it into our bloodstream, and then you get high, you get your buzz, you get your down, whatever you're looking for. With alcohol, because it's oil and water soluble, it penetrates the water around your brain and around your organs that protects you, and just goes bam bam, and then you're fucked. So it's just the devil's nectar. It's so good and so fun, but and that's why it's such a, like, you get drunk so quickly, you stay drunk for so long, you get so hungover. Why it helps when you drink again. It was mind blowing for me. That podcast, I posted on my Instagram loads of times. It's
no reason that, some people say, what's your poison, and then you you'll go for the cure the next day.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I had a great time, like.
You know what I mean? But like, I suppose the reason I'm asking you this, right, is like, had you been drinking, had you not been given up, had you not been sober, we'll say, you possibly, you know, the way your anxiety, like, do you know the way you said you were like really feeling it before the gig last night, you know, like that's all numbed with alcohol. It is, and you don't get to experience it, and you need to experience those things. I feel, and I want to. Yeah, it's more exhilarating experiencing those things. Absolutely. Like, no, and I'm saying that, and I'm like I ingest cannabis every day, and I don't see myself not wanting to do that, because I do it for a variety of reasons, but I'm still trying very, very hard to be present. Yeah, and cannabis is a whole different thing. But it's still hard. I can get quite vacant. Like, you know? It is, and it's still, and that's what I'm saying. Cannabis, it's so, and I know I sound like an absolute hippie, but like even the simple fact that cannabis is given to us by the earth. Yeah. For me, I'm like, there is that's true though. Yeah, it's so true. And then you can literally plant front room. Yeah, and you don't have to smoke it. You can ingest it, and it's been proven. I mean, there's nothing anymore. For me, there's no more discussion. There's no more argument. I'm like, it can be good for you. Yeah. And if you're not talking about the THC level of the plant, you're talking about the CBD level of the plant. But for anti-inflammatory, for seizures, for all these things, I'm like, there is nothing. There's too much work done on the positive scale of how good the cannabis flower can be for us. That you can't. Yes, there's people that are stoners, for want of a better word, whatever. But like. And like that for me, right, is proof alone. You don't smoke cannabis anymore. You don't drink alcohol anymore. No. You know one is a poison and one is a cure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean? I'll have edibles. Like during my period, I don't see if I take a Nurofen or an ibuprofen. That does nothing. See if I have like a little quarter jelly of THC and I eat that, I just like, it just relaxes my body, my mood, because I really suffer with PMS. I get really stressed beforehand, before it comes out. I'm like and I work with men, and I'm like, I can't, you know. And then see just that little piece of jelly, and it just saves me. I find it just absolutely baffling, Kyla, how something like that can help. I know. A woman like you instantly we're being sold a white pill. I know, but we don't even know what's in it. And I don't. I certainly don't know what's in it. Take 2, but not 3, because it's bad for your kidneys and or your liver, and you're like, this is insane. Yeah. This is insane. Or else, take a little bit off that plant there and, cook with it. Yeah. Like, be fine. And you have a real chill, and you've got cannabinoids in your system already. We have a cannabinoid system in our bodies. If we weren't supposed to have that, evolution would have taken that away. Yeah. We have it. Appendix, like. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's grass, kid. I just want to go quickly into we do a thing every week called Trending Topics. And I pick 3 things that are trending, and nothing might happen or originate from the conversation. I'm not a person who, this is like, I'm an imposter. Like, I don't know anything that's going on in the world. Hashtag the late late. Oh God, yeah. What happened at the late show? I don't know. Sure, we were working. Yes, we were. Or is it on tonight? I have no idea. When was the last time you watched Late Late? Oh my God, maybe 15 years ago. Who was presenting the Late Late Show the last time you watched it? I'd say Ryan Tubridy. I definitely remember Pat Kenny. Yeah. And I remember Gay Byrne. I don't know, was it Ryan Tubridy or how long? Ryan on it. I need to see. Who's Jerry Ryan? Do you know who what? I don't know who Jerry Ryan is. You don't know who Jerry Ryan is? The 2FM presenter died from. Remember he took a load of cocaine. Oh yeah, maybe I do. I think I'm thinking of Eamon Dunphy. Eamon Dunphy is a big presenter as well, is he? Yeah, Eamon Dunphy. He's got a fucking huge podcast now as well. Not Off the Ball. What is it? This guy? The Stand. Was that's Neil Prendeville. Oh yes. For those of you who know who Neil Prendeville is, you can just imagine what Kyla was doing when she said, "This guy." Was it that guy? Was it this fella? That's so funny. Hashtag Easter. Hashtag Easter. Yeah, I love Easter. The resurrection. Yeah. All about. I know Easter. Of course I do. Tell me about Easter. What do you fucking know about Easter? I love Easter because Easter was a time when you used to usually go up to the north of Ireland. Okay. So, because my mum was brought up Catholic, extra lick. She was there, my friend. So I actually quite like Easter. It's lovely. I love Easter Sunday. I love the dinner. We used to do Easter egg hunts. Yeah. My cousins, Ursula and Adele, their mum and dad, so they have 6 kids. So I have my auntie and uncle, Christine and Aidan.
They have 6 children. He is a fireman. She was a nurse. Like, they just have this beautiful, like, this like family of what I mean. Of course, everyone. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it looks like the perfect family.
Yeah.
They all do stuff together. They all cook together. They all, you know. And I remember going up there and being like, I'm going to be in this family now, and I just loved it. I loved going up there. I'm just going to stay here, Mom. It's grand. Like, it was so nice. I love Easter. I actually got my sister and my mom some Butler's chocolates for Easter, as you can see. Being fancy.
I love your sister.
My sister is amazing.
Yeah.
Me and my sister have a great relationship.
Yeah.
She's a very cool woman. And we're chalk and cheese. And the thing that holds us together is that we have the exact same sense of humour. Yeah. And she's the only person I think that because when you start doing comedy, you kind of get a bit numbed. Yeah. Like what you see with my friends, and I'm sure you know this 'cause you're a comedian, is like, you're like, oh, that's funny. People say stuff, you're like, that's funny, because you know it'll be funny on stage, but you almost lose the gift of laughter. You're like, because you do your material over and over again, that you're like, I'm going to do this until I hate it, but you love it.
To me now, right, you are, when I first encountered you, right, it was on Instagram, okay?
Yes.
And then I think, would I be right in saying when Mike Rice went over to Barcelona, was that kind of when you started?
Yes, that's when I started with Mike. Mike was a big part of me starting, yeah.
Which is not that long ago.
No, May 16th, it'll be 2 years.
Like Kyla.
I know. But I know.
Listening to you, right? Can I just say this? And I think this is actually a compliment, right?
Yeah.
Listening to you, you're like a fucking 60-year-old man in New York who's been doing comedy since he's 14
Let me tell you a little something about comedy, sugar tits.
You're infected.
I'm consumed. I'm
consumed.
I know.
And I can only see that in a few people. I am 1000% the same. I find it so hard to switch off.
Yeah.
You're talking there about, and I'm really trying this year. I'm really trying to like have a work-life balance. Like I'm saying, like I'm not smoking cannabis anymore. I'm ingesting it now, and it's a different type of high. It's
very different.
It's not like
there's no kind of para. There's no like.
It's so even.
Yeah.
And I find that it is helping me be more present and be more. But like, I find it hard to switch off from the
I just don't think you do. I just don't think you ever.
It's impossible.
But that's what I think the reason I love it so much, because it's the first time. Like, I've always had friends, and I've never been like a loner. I've always been quite I think people would be surprised. I'm quite solitaire. How do you say it? Solitude.
Like introverted, like into solitude. You're happy in your own.
Yeah, I hang out by myself a lot. I could do lots of things on my own. I've always liked doing that. And I've always like had friends and stuff, but I think comedians, I was like, I don't like. I've always felt like a little bit of an alien, like a tiny bit. Like I've always felt a bit like I'm like, I don't feel.
That's just fucking 101 comic.
Yeah, and then you meet comics, and you're like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's more of me around.
Yes, and that's why I'm like, I love this. Like, I'm like, and that's why I just do it. I love it. I love hanging out. I love jokes. I love them. I love comedy.
Like this is going to come out. This podcast isn't out till Monday, so I can say this now, right? But like, you do love comedy, because I said to you yesterday, I said we're doing an early show now on Saturday.
Yeah.
So if you want to come in and do 5 minutes, just like fuck around, and you were like, yeah, I'll do it. Don't say it to anyone.
Yeah.
Because if I did say it, like,
it would be bombarded. Yeah.
And like, you're just so like, and I'd be the same. I'd be like, I'll do that.
For sure.
Give me on at 4:00 as well.
Yeah. Yes. Open mic me. Yeah, for sure.
And
man,
like the more hidden and the more recluse those types of things are, the better they are for comedians.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just such a, and you know what I think is so cool as well about comedy is that it's less than 100 years old, so we're making it. Like when I see comics and they get so, because we've got LA comics come over and they're like, this isn't how you do it, and this is how you do it. And I'm like, Jim Carrey got up in Comedy Central and just did a 20-minute set with his ass cheeks. Like, don't tell me that there's a way. And I know there's a way, and I get it, but you can't restrict. But this is 100 years old. We have to do, this is a free for all.
Yeah, it's the Wild West.
It's the Wild West.
It's the fucking Wild West. It's like, there's like, it's not even recognised as an art in Ireland.
That's so bad.
Like, you telling me Tommy Tiernan isn't an artist?
Well, like what? Like Darrow Breen, Tommy Tiernan, these are the people I grew up with.
Deirdre O'Kane is not a fucking like weaver of fucking wonder.
Yes, like, literally. How can you think that? Like, especially in Ireland. Irish comics in Barcelona are like known. If any Irish comic ever comes over to Barcelona and they're coming, I'll usually contact with them, whatever. And I'm like, do you want spots? Because they just know we're just a different. It's the crowd work, it's the crack, it's the silliness, you know. It's special. I think Irish comics are special.
I think so. I think you're special.
I think you're special.
Thank you. And you mentioned crowd work, and I'll tell you now, right? I'm doing comedy about going on 12 or 13 or 14 years. I don't really know, around that, between either 12 or 14. And I've been bad for way longer than I've been good.
Yeah.
Like, and I have never, like, I've seen people like with your talent come and fly up the charts, and deservedly so. But one thing that I've always kind of said, you know what you're good at? No, you're very good at. You're good at crowd work. You're good at crowd work, and I can see it in other people when they're good at crowd work. You are phenomenal.
Thank you.
Crowd work.
Thank you.
You love it. You appear to love it.
I love it. Like, I love chatting.
Would I be right in saying you could do an hour of crowd work?
Yeah.
If you want, you could do a show called Crowd Work.
Yeah,
You should probably
totally.
do a show called Crowd Work.
Yeah. Literally, I just absolutely love it. I just think it's from working in pubs, though, because I didn't know it was a kind of like flex, for want of a better word.
Flex is a great word for it. It's like,
it's a wee
here
muscle.
you go, I'm funny, and I'll prove it.
Yeah.
This is off the cuff.
Yeah,
Where are you from,
exactly.
sir?
Yeah, literally.
Like Brendan the other night.
Yeah, so fun. That was so and I got very lucky though that he didn't know my name, and I kind of knew. I was like, you don't know where you were, and I, you know what I mean? It's reading the room.
That's reading the room.
Yeah.
That's knowing people. That's being able to, without sounding wanky, but being able to see beyond.
Yeah.
in front
And
of
that's the sobriety too, because when I was drinking, I wasn't doing that kind of crowd work by any means. Sure, I was going off. Of course not, because you just need to be quick. And like when even if you have 1 or 2 pints, sure. And I'd always say I'd have normally 1 pint before going, or 1 canya. So it's like one of those wee beers, maybe 2 canyas. So that would end up being 1 pint. And then I know every single bartender in fucking Barcelona, because I'm on stage every night. And then you're having it. I was like, Mom, we have a tequila before you go on. Just before you go on, quick tequila, and then you're up there.
A line of coke, like.
Yeah, literally. And then you're up there. And like, yeah, the material is good. I can still do it. But when I get sober, I get up there and it's like, this is my only high now. So I'm just gonna like, this is it, you know. And then and with the crowd work, there's and I do that in my set. I talk about there is nothing like it.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it. It is so, and I understand that because you get a bit sad. Do you ever get sad a little bit?
I used to. I don't anymore. I don't, and I don't know. Is that because I kind of have a routine for the adrenaline now.
Okay, that's cool.
So normally I'll have a 45-minute drive, and then I'll have an hour of playing FIFA.
Class.
And that by that time, then I have
Come down.
switched off mentally, because FIFA is I play for an hour, 2 or 3 different games, or 2 or 3 games, and I'm concentrating, completely forgetting about what has happened, because it's kind of mindful.
Yeah.
Being mindful.
Totally, I get what you mean.
And the drive home, I listen to music up full blast.
Unreal.
And I sing at the top of my
Unreal.
voice.
You're a great singer. Cornelius is a great singer. I've been listening to him bop along to some of the tunes at the CoCo Club, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, you're great. You're fucking great. See, that happened because when I first got sober, because whenever you booked me for coming here, I didn't have 30 minutes. And I was like, yes, I'll just say yes and whatever. And I wasn't sober either. And then I started working towards, like, that's my goal now. I have to get the 30 minutes clean, you know, with no crowd work, just try and get the 30 minutes just to fall back on if by any chance I get a load of fucking just people don't want to chat to me, you know.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. And then one of the first times I did 30 minutes, it didn't go well because I had a group of very drunk women in the audience, very drunk. And it just ended up being crowd control, and wasn't enjoying for anyone. And then the second time I did Spotlight, and I went up and I crushed, and I'm not being up my own ass. I've eaten shit many times, but it just went well. I fucking crushed. I had a great time. They had a great time. And I got off and I was so full and I was so triggered. I was only sober, I'd say 60 days. And I was sober 42 days now. And I went down I had to walk down to the beach. I went down to the beach and just cried. I don't even know how, I just couldn't. And then I went back up home and I stayed in bed. And one of my favourite comedians from LA, Michael Lanucci, you ever hear of him?
I haven't. No.
He's a great comic, very funny, does a lot of crowd work as well. And he done a live on Instagram and I just was like, oh, I'll watch that. And I started watching it. Requested to join, just off the cuff.
I think I vaguely remember this.
He let me on. Yeah, he let me on. We have this big chat. He's coming to Barcelona for a bachelor party in August and asked me to open for him.
Wow.
I'm like, this is so weird how the universe rewards you. And I was so tempted to drink. I was like, oh, I really wanted to drink, but everyone have a good time. And I went home and got booked instead. So I was like, there you go.
And that's like as I said to you, that's my routine. That's an hour and 45 minutes of like fucking mindfulness, listening to music.
Because I get a bit down sometimes. Like even after the first show, I kind of got here and I was like, oh, I've had like a pit in my stomach. Where I was like, oh, I feel a bit sad because I just went up so high, and then it comes. Yeah. It is. It's really tough.
And if I'm on the road, I can't do that. We'll say if I'll be touring now later this year, so I won't be coming home to my house. I won't be driving the 45-minute journey.
Yeah, to FIFA.
I'll be staying in B&Bs and
stuff.
So I think it is one
difficult
aspect of our life that is a difficult thing to control.
Yeah,
the adrenaline. But for me anyway, I feel it's like a nice little peaceful nosedive.
It's just shending, so I think it's Spanish. Shendera. It's just coming a little bit, just coming down. And it's still, and that's why I think drink ended up being a problem for me because, and like I always said that comedy saved my life and saved my substance abuse problem, whatever. But it's that coming. I do understand why people drink, and I do understand why a lot of comedians end up being on the cocaine or being on all this stuff because you just want to keep that level. Yeah. You know, it's like you're addicted to that.
It's hard to come down to fucking reality because reality
it is tough.
When you're sober,
it's tough.
You're living it like.
Yeah.
Wow, this is grim. Like.
This is grim. It can be very difficult. It can be very, very difficult.
Let's finish now on some positive notes. How long are we in? Because I know you're.
We got loads. We've got loads of time.
Oh my God.
What time is it?
There's only 25 minutes gone. Oh, I don't know what time it is actually.
10 is my thing.
Oh yeah, perfect. We have 20 minutes.
Hello.
Right.
Well, grand, love.
We're grand, girl. So, what I'd like to ask you is, right, so, your preparation in the lead up for these shows. Can you give me a snapshot of what your week is, like, your day-to-day life and comedy, and how you kind of try to juggle becoming a comedian, because I think we're all becoming comedians.
Always.
Unless you're like at a stage where money is no object anymore and you can pick and choose your tours. I think until you're at that stage, we're all becoming comedians.
Absolutely.
So I had before I was running the clubs full time, I was cleaning windows and doing comedy.
For sure.
Cars and doing comedy.
Same.
So what's your day-to-day week now, we'll say?
Here or in Barcelona?
In Barcelona, like in your preparation for coming over.
So I'm off Mondays and Fridays because I run my own show on Friday nights, and then Monday is like my day off where I just rest or try to rest. So I get up, I do meditation and affirmations straight away. So I'll do a really quick guided meditation, and then I have 10 affirmations I write down, and then I usually go and do an hour of yoga, an hour at the gym, and then I get down to the water, I sit by the water, and then I go to work. And then I work
every day.
Yes, I'm a devil for routine. Like you don't even know. I am a devil.
What a zen way to start your day, though.
Yeah, but I can't get up because I deal with people and I love human beings. But I'm only one person, and like sometimes it just gets to the point where like I have nothing left to talk about. I have nothing left. I can't pretend to be nice. I can't pretend to be happy. Like, but I'm really content. That's I promise I have a really beautiful life, and I live. I mean, you've seen my home. Yeah. You've stayed where I live. I'm very lucky. It's a beautiful area.
It's absolutely beautiful.
So I do that. I go to work. I come back, and then I gig and I write. And usually I'll write a little bit in the morning. I try and write something. I try and think about, just observe anything. Try and stay present. I try and go to about 2 live performances during the week that isn't comedy.
Do you?
Yeah, for sure. Because you have to give back, and you have to be. I mean, Barcelona, we're really lucky because I've got like loads of the poetry slams and rap, and I love. There's a guy that plays the saxophone. He plays once a week.
And like, I mean, this is what I'm saying about like you're always trying to be a comedian. I don't really go out of my way to go to anything else bar comedy. Oh. And it's silly.
It's silly. Because you can appreciate it more than anything, because you're up on stage. Yeah. And when you're in it...
accidentally see something, I'm like, wow, look at that.
Oh, like you should.
I could be at something with Noelle, a party or something with her work or whatever.
An event.
I'll zone in on whoever is
playing
music.
Oh my God, go for it. Especially when you're musical yourself. Sure, you're in a band, you were saying. Oh my God, go. It's the best thing. And that was a New Year's resolution of mine. I was like, I want to see, because I used to before I was a comedian, I used to always go and see stuff. I love going. I'm like, show me, if you're sharing with me and you're being vulnerable and you're on stage and you have this gift. And of course, a lot of the times just average people with, average instrument playing, and that's grand. But sometimes when you get to witness that genius and you're like, oh, you're creating a masterpiece and I'm peeking in. Yeah. Give me all all of that.
Yeah.
I was at a like a poetry. There was no comedians allowed to perform, but it was like in Barcelona. It's like between the poets and the comics. It's so funny.
Fuck off.
I swear to God.
There's a rivalry in Barcelona.
Not even a rivalry, but they're like the comedians because it's just such a different like. We're like come up with like.
Poetry in my fucking comic.
I know, but it's my friend Mariah does it as
I'd
well.
have to choose if I was in Barcelona.
Yeah. Or like you're not allowed to perform at the poetry. Like if it's an open mic poetry, you're not allowed to come in and do comedy. You can come and watch, but like it's so silly. I guess they create this atmosphere, and then we're like, oh, pedophiles, oh, sex. So I went to this poetry slam, and it was great, and there was poets, and there was singers, and there was whatever, spoken word, and then there was a guy, this little skinny, nerdy, like Screech from Saved by the Bell, who was kind of sitting around and kind of saw him, and he had an instrument in a case. I didn't recognize the case. So I was like, I wonder what he is, and then she introduced him, this girl, Nesha, and she was like, he is a prodigy, and he plays in Musical del Blau, which is like the main kind of music orchestra building, or whatever you call it, in Barcelona. This little skinny guy had the cello, and I was like, right, let's see. Cornelius. I was bawling, crying. The whole room, and it was full of rappers. There's a lot of rappers there. We were all just sitting there. You know when it's just, you're like, I was gifted this. Like, it was the most beautiful thing I saw in 2023. And I know it's still early, but it was like, I just sat there and I was like, I couldn't. And then I would like close my eyes and be like, this isn't right. It was so, and he was so like, his body was so little. And then he played, and his fingers were like an extension of the instrument. And I was like, holy shit, like, the divine gave you this. Yeah. The divine gave you this to give to us. Like, it was insane. It was so beautiful. And I sat through so many shit poets, and to have that gift at the end, and I was like, oh yeah, this is class. It was really, if there's anything I would say, and also because it helps with your set, being around creativity and being around, it's inspiring.
This is the thing. It's like as I said, I'm desensitized to
yeah.
feelings now. It's rare.
Of course, me too.
It's rare that I see, like, you this week now has been like, yeah, wow. And you get
thank you.
And
Yeah. Thank you.
And no, but you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And but it's all you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah.
You know? I'm trying to thank you.
Yeah.
Stop telling me thank you. Gratitude.
All of yeah.
But it's like it's like you'll see something like that every now and then, and you'll just be like, and then you aspire.
Oh, totally.
And then when you aspire, you get better.
You do, of course.
And you still might be shit.
No, yeah, but
you're a better version of your shit.
Even if you're doing your same material, you're up there, and you're like, oh, I'm sharing this with someone. Like, even if you're doing the same gig, but you're just on a different, you're up just a little bit extra, and you're like, I felt that. Like, it is, and like I don't know what Cork is like, but in Barcelona there's something on every night, and it's usually €4 or €5, €6 in, and you spend that on a pint.
Yeah.
So like, why
Cork
not?
Cork is pretty fucking good. I'll tell you now.
I'm really surprised how amazing Cork is.
Yeah, Cork is pretty good.
Really
if you were living in Cork now, for example, right, there is nothing on a Monday.
Yeah.
You take Mondays off anyway.
I take Mondays off anyway.
Tuesday there's a gig in Collins on Douglas Street.
A music or
it's a comedy gig.
Oh, cool.
And there's a gig in the Roundy, an improvised gig.
Oh, I love improvisation.
On Wednesdays there's going to be a comedy podcast night in CoCo Club starting in a couple of weeks' time.
That's such a good idea.
And it's going to be comedy in the first half and a live podcast with the comedians that were performing in the first half.
Very fun. Very fun. What are you going to call it?
I think we're calling it CoCo Live or something. I think it's CoCo Live, or I don't know, Wednesdays, or we're trying to come up with something anyway. I think it's something like CoCo Live anyway. Podcast.
Yeah.
But we're just doing it anyway. Myself and Dan are doing it just to do something.
Absolutely.
More creative.
Yeah.
Like that's different.
Yeah. You and Dan are very funny as a duo.
Yeah.
It's lovely to watch. You and Dan just kind of doing your stuff.
I love Dan now. I have to say he's been just a massive like he's like a gift.
Yes.
You just come across someone and they're like,
you're like,
wow.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, universe. This person is exactly what I need in my life.
Literally.
Right now. A lovely guy, and we're able to help each other out.
Yeah.
In ways that are mutually
totally. And he's a great comedian as well.
He's
very funny. Some great writing. He's really
very
cool.
And like even in your show last night, I remember he's like Dan. He's been on this podcast. He goes by the moniker "The Only Funny German." But like he's so analytical. You know what? I was on stage. I was looking at them. I was like, they don't like me. So I'm going to walk on these jokes, and if I get a couple of laughs, then brilliant. That's a really bad German accent.
It's like you're Vladimir, right?
She's
I
Vladimir.
was like, thought to myself, they don't like me. In Germany, I'm very famous.
I'm so bad at accents.
It's so
But, like,
funny.
But yeah, just a gift. And
He's
but-
class.
and then Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, there's CoCo, there's gigs in Collins on Fridays now as well.
Collins and Clan, no?
Collins is in Douglas Street in Cork.
Oh,
City.
shit, sorry.
Yeah. And then there's City Limits as well, which is on every now and then as well. And yeah, so it's pretty good. It's getting better, and like myself and Dan want to try and create enough work there to make livings for ourselves.
Yeah.
And to create work for comedians.
Yeah.
And eventually make so that they can, because there's no, as you said, this is the Wild West. There's no route to market.
No.
And we're trying. That's actually an aspiration of ours, is to try and build a route to market, so that we can get mortgages and buy cars.
Totally, and be established and have, go to the bank and say, this is what I do, and it be.
Here are my earnings for the last 3 years.
Exactly.
Through comedy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
these,
Exactly.
Because there is no. So we're trying to, and then in doing so, create route to markets for comedians that are coming through, and be able to, there's like 6 gigs there a week, and there might be a week's wage for.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Which is amazing, and but we have to get ourselves started.
It takes time, but once you're there, I mean, like once you keep chipping away, it'll just come to itself. You know what I mean?
It will. So I want to talk about. We've done 2 gigs.
We
right?
have.
Let's talk about the opening night. Let's talk about Thursday. I just want to talk. We've talked about crowd work. Don't want to give away your material now, right? But we could talk about the content of your material, or maybe but how I described it to Noelle, right? My wife is a big fan of yours, right?
Oh,
big
so
fan
cool.
of yours. She's always thought, like honestly, I was telling you, she was like, she does shift work. She was like,
Yeah.
we're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's. She can't know because I'm after saying the podcast.
Yeah.
Will I call in sick? And I was like, you can't call in sick. No.
Yeah.
And then, it could have been the other way around, me trying to get her to call in sick. But,
Yeah.
just in case anyone from work is listening, she did not say that. I would try to get her to call in sick.
Yeah.
Because I know some of people from Noelle's work listen to this. Noelle is a hard-working, diligent person, and I love her. But she was like, "What was Kyla like?" And I was like, "I was like, how do I describe it?" And how I said it was, I felt that you were talking about subjects that normally, right, even though there was maybe 10% of the audience were men, right? Because 90% of the audience were female. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, for sure.
But you were talking about subjects that normally a man might cringe at.
Yeah.
But you were making it uproariously funny and incredibly relatable.
Yeah.
I think probably the 9 or 10 men that left probably did Google what a uterus is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like,
That's
like,
so funny.
Is it
I
hard
love
to
that
write
bit.
that type of comedy? And like, where did you draw inspiration for that? Or like and how are you, like, you just make it relatable to someone who's not it shouldn't be relatable to.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
your audience know you so well. Like, you were getting you were generating laughs that were guttural.
Yeah, I love that. Guttural is a great word.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just what I'm living. It's just it's just genuinely my truth. Like, it's just genuinely how I look at the world in a certain way, where I know fire with fire doesn't work for when I want to explain something. I know I can sit there and talk to men and be like, you don't understand. So I'm like, yes, but we know they don't understand. We figure that out, no? After years of trying with the feminist movement, we know that sometimes we say stuff and
we don't understand. I think we don't like.
Yeah, you don't understand. But of course, I don't understand what it is to be a man. You don't understand what it's to be a woman, because we're not that. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to understand. They don't need to understand us. They just need to understand what we're feeling. And it's like, for me, I think a little bit, I was really sick of like the fight, because I'm like, it's not about like. I know it's so hard without it coming across very political, but I'm like, or not political, but like controversial, whatever. But it's like, I'm surrounded by good guys. I'm surrounded by good fellas, and I'm like, I know you would never do anything to any of us. I know you would help me in a heartbeat, but it's like trying to explain. It was like, I felt like I was always trying to, like, when I was talking about being a woman, I felt like I was fighting all the time, and I was exhausted from it. Whereas when I am a woman, as a woman, and the stories I tell on stage and the things that I put on stage, like, it's genuine how I feel. And I know it's like it makes me giggle. You know what I mean? It's like, because I'm like, this is like insane that I feel like this walking at night time. This is insane that, you know, I certain things happen because of how I look or because of my gender. And I know that on an energetic level, if you take gender out of it, I know you think it's insane too. So if I can tell you that and laugh about it and not come at you because you just happen to be like, you know what I mean? I don't know. For me, it's just, and I just look at it all. And when I'm writing, I try not to think too much about gender. I think about it as we're all just big balls of energy. And it's just explaining why my energy changes when certain things happen. And that's funny. And I know that's funny. Because we're all just living it. We're all just here doing it. And everyone's kind of doing their best, and then sometimes a bit despicable, and that's okay too. But it's like being like, I've done this and this is terrible, but I've done it because of this and this is funny. And I don't know. I just try and write on a really, like, as if I was talking to someone who never knew anything about it at all, you know. And I love doing that when I'm always like, this is a secret, you must go and tell the others, you know. And I want them to see. I'm like, it's not. And I know that a lot of times, like now in the CoCo Club, I've had a huge female audience because of my Instagram. But I go on stage, Cornelius, and sometimes it's a big group of men, just all fellas, and I do the same bit, and I'll say it as in the same way.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, like, this is what like, I'm so impressed. I can't tell you how impressed I am, you know. Like, I know comedians that are doing comedy 2 years, Kyla. I know comedians that are doing comedy 10 years, you know. As I said, I've been doing it nearly 12, 14 years myself. And like, your level, you're at a very high level. You're gifted.
Thank you so
much. You're
much.
a fucking celloist.
Thank you.
Fucking boy. That's what you are, playing a cello.
Yeah,
you're an
thank
extension
you.
when you're on stage.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much.
Like, your description there is like so succinct, and like, I completely get what you're saying, and it's beautiful because we are different.
Yeah.
Men are different from other men.
Yeah.
You know, we are just
Yeah.
condensed balls of fucking energy.
Yeah, literally.
You know,
literally.
that are living in a meat suit.
Literally.
One has an appendage coming down called a willy.
Yeah.
The other one is called a vagina.
Yeah,
right?
literally.
And that's literally it. That's the suit we live in.
Yeah.
You know? But like, your ability to pull excellent humor out, and also, like, because I think good comedy, right? Like, good storytelling comedy, like, you have to have a hook, you have to have a narrative, you have to have, like, you know, jokes and callbacks and tags and all this kind of stuff. There is structure to comedy.
Yeah. Oh, there is
Traditional
absolutely.
comedy.
Oh, absolutely. No, and don't get me wrong.
You know?
Absolutely. The foundations are there.
But like, and so you can. So if you're out listening to this podcast and you think, I couldn't do comedy, I can tell you straight up, you can do comedy.
You can.
There's
a way of learning. Yeah, there's a way of learning.
But there is a difference between learning how to do comedy and being a comedian, right?
Yeah.
There is a difference. That's
Yeah.
like, and you're like, that person is funny. That person isn't funny.
Yeah.
Both of them can write jokes.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Exactly.
And your delivery. Is that a knock on the door?
I think so. 1 second.
Okay. All right. This is just an intermission.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much.
Just a little intermission.
My child boy.
Wow. Are you okay for everything?
I know, we had so nuts. He was a bit of a hottie, wasn't he?
He was a little bit of a hottie.
He's
I'd say
a
if I
little bit
wasn't
of a
here now,
hottie,
you'd
I would
be
have
like,
been.
do you want me to put these inside you?
Why don't you just put them in the bathroom, big boy?
Okay, I was going for soft porn. You were going for a different type of porn.
Let me suck your dick.
But no,
yeah,
it's like,
it's just,
and that's why it fucking annoys me that it's not recognized as an art, because like, some people are artists at this craft.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You
I mean, you see some people and you're like, you're just so good.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. You see people and you're like, and then, as you said, it's so funny because I know comedians as well that have been doing it for years and years, and you're just like, yeah, good, really good. And then there's some people just have a thing and you're like, oh fuck, you're great. You just write jokes and you're like, I wish I thought of that. That's so good.
And like, sometimes it's like even like if like I could tell a couple of comedians jokes and I wouldn't make them as funny as the way.
Yeah,
they,
it's delivery for sure.
Just your expressions and your body language. Like you had a swagger on stage now the last 2 nights.
Yeah. I've been told that before, that I'm like with the hand in the pocket and all.
Yeah, hand in the pocket. You're like fucking up there. Like you're swimming in a pool that you've been fucking swimming in your whole life.
Yeah. I enjoy it.
So what did you like? So Thursday, like you were saying, you found it difficult to come down that night. You were on the floor and stuff like that. What was Friday like then for you? The lead up to Friday and then the actual event itself.
Friday was definitely, so in my mind before I came here, I thought, I was like, opening night's going to be amazing, middle night will be more of a lull, and last night will be bomb. Like huge, not bomb bad, bomb like bam, because of my creative process, and I know the first night I'll be up to 90, the middle I'll be like tomorrow's the last night, and then and I feel like it did kind of go like that. Now yesterday wasn't a lull by any means, shape or form, but it was definitely a very different energy. I think we had come in after the first night being like, let's fucking do this, and it just wasn't, and for some reason the audience kept getting up. It was insane. It was
God.
What was that?
Do you know what? I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, Kyla's going to think my club is shit.
No, not at all. No, it was nuts. I don't know.
It was, right. I think last night's crowd, right, are huge fans of yours.
Yeah.
But we're not used to going to comedy.
No, I don't think they were a comedy savvy audience.
And like we give a 10-minute warning like before the show.
Yeah.
We have a 10-minute warning there to get your last drink and go to the toilet.
And it's not a long show.
And it's like 35 minutes is the first half.
Yeah, half an hour, which is what.
15-minute break again.
Yeah.
Another 35 minutes.
But it was continuous. They were up and down and up and down. It was, which doesn't seem like it's going to interrupt the flow, but it does. It changes the room.
It does.
You know, can you imagine if you're on a date?
Like, but do you know what? I don't know. People, bar comedians, notice it because like I could be in any room, and if the audience are being any sort of dickheads,
or if there's a buzz. Remember those girls even yesterday when they were talking, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" But very nice, because I'm like, I know that you're here because of me, but I was like, stop talking because I'm trying to do this, and you talking is distracting even one person at one table, and that's annoying me because I want them to listen to what I'm saying. You know, it's such a.
And you have to do it in a kind of that's an interesting thing to talk about because you have to do it in a polite way, but a firm way.
Yes.
You're like, shut the fuck up.
Literally. Yeah. Like, and you just have to be very, and I'm just now I'm lucky because when I do my little bit of crowd work at the beginning, I think people sense it. I'm like, I'll rip you if you interrupt me.
Do you know what? That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. You're kind of like, and I kind of tend to do the same as well. I picked on Tom the first night with the hat. Yeah,
Tom actually. It was Tom who brought in that stuff yesterday, the workout gear. He has a company called Grow.
What's his company called?
His company is called, I'm going to read it right now because it's Gym Grow Gain, and he got me an amazing water bottle and workout leggings and a top. So I must actually do that on Instagram today.
Gym Grow
Gain.
Tom was sitting in the front row and
great sport.
Like, I mean, I ripped into him, and then Kyla came up. Like he left anyway with 3 arseholes. He had his own original arsehole. I ripped one, and then you ripped one into him. And he was
loving it.
When you find someone like that, then that's great because they're loving it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know there's a vibe.
Exactly.
And the rest of the audience are like, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, and he was brilliant, I must say. But that is, I think last night that happened. So a lot of people were interrupting. They kept moving around. There was almost like an antsy kind of vibe or something. So it was just a different thing. But again, it went. When I got up, I felt great. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel anything. But I definitely at the beginning was like, oh, this is a bit tougher. This one's a little bit tougher, you know.
And do you know what I love as well, right? I fucking love about you, right? Is there is no airs or graces. You realised that and could recognise that and said it to me as well. I was like, it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
There was no like some other comedians now that I have been dealing with in the past, like they people like. That frenetic energy, driving their anxiety wild.
Oh no, she can't.
And then they're unable to not complain to me because
it's
Chris Lappy, getting up and do you know what I mean?
I know, but sure, what are you gonna do?
Dealing with their anxiety.
Yeah.
I have to go. I know. I'll try and sort it there.
Not at all. Oh my.
Just so fucking in the flow.
Yeah. You just gotta do it.
It just being able to recognise that helps when you go on stage straight away because you know what's going on.
Exactly. And also I know that and also lads, I do live performances 5 nights a week. Like you just don't know what the fuck. You can never, even like I've done 2 great sets. I'm super excited. I think my comedy yesterday was probably better than my comedy the first night in the sense I remembered more stuff, whatever. But like didn't wake up this morning being like, I'm going to crush it. I'm like, yo, I'm going to do my writing, I'm going to do my meditation, I'm going to do my routine, and I'm going to hope to God that it works out. Because with live performance, Cornelius, you know, you've done comedy for 12 years. You can have the best shit in the world, my friend. It doesn't matter, because all it takes is one cunt and you're fucked. You know what I mean? So I always go in with my head down, with my material ready and my game on, but like with no expectation. Like literally just like, once I have a good time, people who are there want to have a good time, I'm like, I'll put on a show. But it's a real that's why it's so fun. Yeah. Because you can be as funny as you want, but there's so many other factors in stand-up comedy that will fuck you over, that you're like, it's a real game like, you just have to be there. You have to go with it, flow with it, enjoy it, and be like, yeah, the mic is cutting out, yeah, there's a horrible buzzing noise coming from the air conditioning, yeah, all these things are happening, but here we are. So what are we going to do? Do we focus on that, or do we focus on the material? We focus on the material, you know what I mean?
And that's
it's mental.
That's stand-up comedy, folks.
That's stand-up comedy, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this podcast, please let me know. Like and subscribe and all that kind of carry on. Kyla Cobbler, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cornelius,
for being on my podcast again. I absolutely love you. Think you're brilliant.
I love you
I'm a
too.
big fan, and we're going to try and get this all going again at the back end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, we'll be announcing dates maybe next week at some stage.
Yes. Very, very exciting.
But yeah, very exciting.
Let's
Bigger,
do
bolder, and with more friends.
Exactly. Can't wait, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cornelia, for having me on.
Bye.
Bye.